Now we're going to go to Emma Bateman. Emma Bateman is from the UK. She used to be an environmental activist, primarily concerned with stopping new nuclear power. But for the past 5 years, her main battle has been with the Green Party. Emma has been suspended, expelled, and unexpelled several times and is pursuing a court case against the UK Green Party. And the title of your talk, Emma, or Emma's talk, is Expelled Again, Doing the Wokey Cokey with the Green Party.
So yeah, I've been in the Green Party for quite a long time. The Green Party is one of the most progressive parties in the UK. Let's say, you know, it's on the left and it's got lots of young people who join it, and it's very proud of its pro-trans policies, which the length of the pro-trans policies is quite remarkable, especially when you look at them in comparison to the length of the women's policies, which you'll see, oh, no, we don't actually have a women's section. We just have a trans rights section. Now, it was the kind of the pro-trans thing has been going on probably 2014, 2015, like that. And some people will know about Amy Challoner, who was a bit of a dark period in the Green Party. If you don't know about young Amy, you can go and look him up. It's not pleasant. But some of the people that were in charge at that time, who were lauding Amy Challoner, Amy Challoner got into quite a lot of trouble. His father was a member of the Green Party and ended up in prison for a long time for very nasty crimes. I won't go into that, but it was the people that were kind of pushing Amy are the same people that are still kind of at the top now. So they kind of built their power base on the pro-trans kind of LGBT Greens, young Greens sort of base, and that's not really changing despite a lot of lip service that's paid to it. So let's check this. In February 2021, the leaders kind of came out with this thing. They finally decided, right, I'll go back a bit. At first, they were trying to kick everyone out, right? They were trying to kick all the gender critical people out. They thought, you know, it's just a tiny bigoted group. We can get rid of them. We'll be fine. We'll kick all the gender critical people out. It'll be fine. They kind of 2021, they went like, oh, this isn't really working. So the leaders came out with this idea that they would come up with this code of conduct for the leaders, believe in expecting the best of others and communicating in ways which reflect and advance our political aims. Then I don't know, I think it was just a few days before that, Sian Berry was the co-leader of the Green Party, and this is what she said to Pink News. Sian Berry thinks you should reconsider being in the Green Party if you don't believe trans rights are human rights. So then what happened was, because this was becoming quite problematic, they got in some EDI trainees and they did an audit, and the EDI audit said that every participant interviewed or who took part made comments about the negative impact of the conflict in the party. They talked about people being traumatized, but the thing is with this EDI stuff is they don't really spell it out directly that it was the sex and gender very clearly, but they did allude to it. But the bit that most of the people in the Green Party at the top kind of seemed to cling on to was that the environment for this behaviour is not being managed effectively, and negative virus is damaging the party's culture, and they need to establish clear and concise mechanisms for handling unacceptable behaviour and following through with appropriate actions. Well, some of them grabbed hold of what they thought was unacceptable behaviour, but obviously what's unacceptable to some people is not unacceptable to others, because to some people it's unacceptable to say men aren't women and that you can't change sex. So this is the current leadership. This is not how things stand now. This is in March 2023. Zach Polanski, who is our deputy leader, said those members who claim that trans women are men and trans men are women should not have a place in the Greens. So it's not getting any more friendly. This is our current co-leader, Carla Denyer. In September 2021, she called LGB Alliance a hate group and said that LGB Alliance peddle outright transphobia. She hasn't retracted that. She hasn't made any indication that she thinks that this is not the case anymore. Okay, so this is our leadership who are pushing this. Now, Mary Clegg is the CEO of the Green Party, again in 2021, in a paper that was supposed to be about equality and all the protected characteristics. She listed all the protected characteristics, but on the protected characteristics of sex, she put a footnote that said sex-based rights can be seen as a route of querying and questioning trans people's rights to exist and access resources. That was the only protected characteristic that had a footnote. Okay, so again, has she changed her mind? I don't think so. She's still the CEO. So what they've done since this EDI kind of audit is they keep talking about they're going to make changes, improve things to improve the culture of the party. But all that happens is they sort of constantly rewrite the constitution. They're constantly improving it by implementing revised complaints and suspension processes, bringing in new code of conduct, bringing in social media policy, and they're supposed to be improving the well-being of the party by facilitating the creation of guidance for the framework of ethics and conduct. Now, this framework of ethics and conduct that they've brought in the Green Party is supposed to be a kind of series of documents that help people to realise what behaviours they should be exhibiting in the Green Party. It's going to be used in the sort of disciplinary systems as well, to kind of guide those people in the disciplinary systems as to, you know, what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. But again, because this is coming from the same people, and because you can't really change a culture just by rewriting a constitution or a code of conduct, what's happened is, oh, I haven't got a picture there, have I? Okay, so this is from the transphobia dog whistle guidance. Okay, so the LGBT Greens, as part of all this kind of like writing all this stuff, they've written the dog whistle guidance to transphobia. Now, the LGBTIQA plus Greens is the official Green Party group that sort of represents LGBTIQA plus people. And so what they put out is, you know, it's representative, or can be taken by some people as being the Green Party stance. So in this dog whistle guidance, these things are included. So protecting children is a queerphobic dog whistle, transphobic dog whistle. Asking what is a woman is a transphobic dog whistle. Protecting women is a transphobic dog whistle. Talking about real men or women and biological facts is a transphobic dog whistle. And then they came out with further to this, they came up with a guide to queerphobia. Now, this guide to queerphobia is in the framework of ethics. So it is referred to when the disciplinary committee are looking at what sanctions to put on people, you know, what's acceptable behaviour. This queerphobia guide is in there and will be looked at. And this says things like disrespecting or disregarding another person's autonomy, whether over their identity or body, that's queerphobic. Knowingly using a label for a person that doesn't describe their identity, queerphobic. Using the word lesbian to only refer to cis women who are attracted to cis women, queerphobic. Denying or refusing to respect trans people's gender identity. So you can see that this doesn't really leave gender critical members much space to discuss sex and gender and women's rights in the Green Party, when all of these things are considered queerphobic. And they even included in the queerphobia guidance referring to people with XX chromosomes as women and XY chromosomes as men or male. They actually use male or female, is queerphobic, because obviously that upsets intersex people. So even discussing, you know, males and females in terms of chromosomal makeup is queerphobic. So this is the improvements that have happened since 2021. All of this has not been good news for the Greens overall, because in wider society, you know, all this stuff is being questioned and the Greens are being questioned. And what's happening is people are bringing court cases, like myself, because we're not putting up with this behaviour anymore. And it's got pretty nasty, and they're sort of realising that this could cost them a lot of money. You know, financially, the Greens are going to be in a very bad place, because we've just had a court case from a guy called Shara Ali. Shara was, he used to be deputy leader of the Green Party, and he has just won a substantial part of his claim against the Green Party. They removed Shara as a spokesperson. In the Green Party, you have spokespeople for, who are the sort of the people to go to on different policies. They're the voice of the Green Party on different policies, etc. And Shara was removed for his gender critical beliefs, and he was discriminated against by the Green Party, and that's what the judgment has come to. That's what they said. So there's him, there's me with a court case, there's Dawn Furness with a court case. Alison Teal has got a very good case if she decides to go to law, and there are others in the pipeline. So anyway, I'll come on to talk about me for a little bit, because I'm looking at the time and going, yes, I'm running on a lot. So I am expelled at the moment. I did call this the Wokey Cokey with the Green Party because, yeah, so in 2021, spent from March to August, I was suspended. And then 2022, February to August, I was suspended. Then what happened in January this year, I got expelled. This was for a complaint made by a former co-leader of the party. So as I say, it's coming from the top, this. I've had a complaint from the former co-leader of the party. I've had a complaint from the former deputy leader of the party. That was quite interesting. She kind of tried to suggest that I was a safeguarding problem for the Greens, because she claimed that I made a child cry at conference, which I didn't. I didn't make a child cry at conference, but she tried to claim that to get me expelled. Anyway, so what got me expelled was this one from the former co-leader of the party. I was expelled in January 2023. I appealed against that. And part of my appeal was because she had actually said during the complaints hearing that she brought the complaint in order to stop me going to conference. Now, this is in the Green Party, this is not supposed to be allowed, because you're not supposed to use complaints, weaponized complaints, to bring in order to prevent a political opponent or someone with, not really supposed to be a political opponent, we're in the same party, God, but someone with views you don't like. You're not supposed to use the complaint system to try and silence them. That's actually a vexatious complaint. So I appealed, and it was sent back again for another disciplinary hearing. That disciplinary hearing, they expelled me again. So I appealed again. That appeal hearing was heard in July, and then they decided to look at and see whether it was vexatious. Then they got a bit worried and thought they better go and consult the lawyers, which I think they did. And a result that's usually supposed to take 2 weeks, knowing that this hearing was in 20th of July, I didn't hear until mid-November. So I was expelled until then. And then they quite begrudgingly let me back into the party. And I think they kind of realised that actually this shouldn't have kicked me out in the first place. Maybe, I don't know. I imagine, because I haven't actually seen what the lawyers said, but I can imagine that they wouldn't have let me back in if the lawyers had said, yeah, no, that's fine, you can kick her out. Okay, so anyway, there are some people that are very determined in the Green Party. So then what happened was they re-expelled me in January because they said that the appeal in July had not been done properly. I haven't been told why. I haven't been told who objected to it. But I've just been told that because it wasn't done properly, I'm out again. There's no date for the next appeal. It could take months. They haven't got an appeals committee because I believe that some of the appeals committee resigned in protest at that. So it's all a bit in the air, and I have no idea how long I'll be out for. But, I'm still going to fight it. Right. Now, when I got expelled, some people have said, like, oh, you must have said something really terrible when you get expelled. You must have been really awful. I was expelled for the evidence was 8 tweets from me. They're all still on my timeline. One of them was my profile. They objected to my profile pic because I didn't say all views on my own. So that was the thing. And then they had 5 more tweets from other random people calling me transphobic, which is supposed to be the proof that I brought the party into disrepute, because lots of people were calling me a transphobic bigot, so therefore I must be. And random people on the internet calling you a transphobe is a reason to expel you from the party, it seems. Anyway, so the tweets were kind of similar to this, where I sort of said the only power I have is to state the truth on Twitter. People cannot change sex. Males cannot become females. Identifying as is not the same as being. though you are right that the truth is powerful and can be painful for those who don't want to hear it. That was kind of thought to be against the code of conduct because I said people cannot change sex, and according to Green Party policy, people can change sex. So that was what the problem was with that one. This one, I said, I'm the co-chair of Green Party Women. People cannot change sex. Well, I've identified myself as the co-chair of Green Party Women, which I was. Obviously, I'm not now. And because, again, I said people can't change sex. That's against the code of conduct. And I should have apparently said before this that people could change sex as per Green Party policy. So you can see this one, I said that I thought it was disrespectful to women to allow male sex offenders to call themselves women and for their crimes to be recorded as being committed by females. Apparently, this was disrespectful to male sex offenders. I'm not entirely sure how, but I can't remember all the details because all of these have gone through 2 appeals hearings, 2 disciplinary hearings, plus a further appeal hearing that I wasn't present at. So, you know, they've all gone through a lot. And here's the ones of various people calling me a transphobic bigot. These people might not even be in the Green Party. It doesn't really matter. They're just people on the internet. If they call you a transphobe, that's what the party accepts. Now, I've kind of skipped through that, but if you wanted to know more about what's going on in terms of complaints and what's happening to people, we had a webinar called The Process is the Punishment. I don't know if I can give you details later to put out on the WDI thing. I hope I can give you the links. Yeah, you're nodding. That's great. And all of these people on here have, well, apart from Pallavi, the chair was Pallavi. She's in the Green Party. Dawn Furness was suspended for quite some time. I'm expelled. Alison Teal is still suspended. She was the prospective parliamentary candidate for Sheffield. She was suspended as it's still on a no-fault suspension for sharing an article that called Eddie Izzard a man and saying that perhaps we need to talk about this. Zoe Hatch is a former co-chair of Green Party Women. She's on a no-fault suspension for actually sending out an email that told the truth about what was going on in Green Party Women. It won't surprise you to hear that 3 of the people in this picture are all former co-chairs of Green Party Women, because Green Party Women is where the kind of crux of what's going on in the Green Party is. So this is a webinar that if you want to listen to some more horrors about what's going on in the complaint system in the Green Party, I recommend you listening to that one. Now, are things getting better? No, I don't think so. This is 3 Green seniors, right? These 3 veritable people were put on no-fault suspensions. I can't remember now, 2-3 weeks ago, maybe slightly more, and their crime was in an informal Google group. Eric, who's 99 in the middle there, it was claimed that he'd shared confidential information. He didn't do anything of the sort. The other 2 co-chairs were kind of accused of not stopping him doing that. So all these 3 are on a no-fault suspension. Nicola's been in the party 40 years. You know, this is disgraceful behaviour. This is what's happening to our people. And again, this is Zoe, Alison, and Lucy, all on no-fault suspensions. Zoe and Lucy were both former committee members. Zoe was co-chair at Green Party Women. Now, this is Cheska Walton. She is the other co-chair of Green Party Women when Zoe was a co-chair. Cheska believes trans women are women. Cheska believes that gender critical beliefs are transphobic, and she tweets that. She believes sex work is work and believes that choking can be a bit of fun. You know, this kind of thing. You can see where she's coming from. Now, Cheska at Brighton conference ripped down our Green Women's Declaration banner. You can see it here. I did a little video of it. She ripped that down and attacked us and started, you know, yelling about the fact that we shouldn't be there. She's not on a no-fault suspension. You know, this behaviour is acceptable in the Green Party as long as you've got the right views. So I'm looking at the time. I'll try and speed up a bit. Green Party Women, as I said, Green Party Women was kind of at the crux of what was going on in the Green Party. It's been a battleground over gender critical and sort of pro-trans sort of members. Green Party Women, it's for women and people who let me get this right. People who identify as women or as gender variant, which means obviously we get a load of people that are male, I'm allowed to call them blokes, in their voting, standing for the committee, etc. But it's been a battleground. Now, what happened was the gender critical side has been kind of like ploughing on and getting more seats on the committee. We've been kind of winning. And so in November, Green Party Women was disaffiliated from the Green Party on a jumped up excuse, I would say, a completely jumped up excuse. Zoe Hatch had just been suspended, and they decided that in 2021, our election was held a couple of weeks late, and we didn't announce the results until 2 weeks after we were supposed to. And so ever since 2021, we haven't been a proper committee. So therefore, we had to be disaffiliated. Our membership list was taken away. We couldn't contact any members. You know, this is what's happened. And we've only just been able to hold new elections. I'm saying we, even though I'm kicked out of the party, because these are my sisters in spirit. Okay, so, and now they've got the Green Party women back. They found out that suddenly loads of people have dropped off the membership list somehow. We're not quite sure what's going on there. Right. Now, this is, I put this in, although I won't say a lot about it. If you want to know the kind of things that go on in the Green Party women in April last year put out this series of 3 tweets, and basically they sort of said they welcomed the EHRC calling for public debate on the issues of sex and gender, and they said it's Green Party women is clear the EHRC should not leave trans without legal protection from discrimination, and you know it's not I think it's supportive of trans people. It's not saying, you know, they shouldn't be in the party, anything like that. But because they said, we feel it is vital for female safety, dignity and fairness that they are protected on the basis of sex, this was thought to be outrageous. The GPRC, the Green Party Regional Council, held 3 emergency meetings about this. They tried to get rid of Zoe at that point. They were talking about suspending the whole committee. And, you know, for these 3 tweets. So these are what you can't say in the party. What you can say in the party, you can call people, you can say that TERF should be exiled to the face of the sun. You can say TERF should get in the sea. You can say all gender critical people are transphobic, that kind of thing. That's all acceptable. Right, so because we got kind of annoyed about this, and we set up the Green Women's Declaration. Again, I say we, this is people in the Green Party, lots of us, and they're working really hard. I'm not a driver of this, but I'm kind of hanging on the coattails. We were inspired, obviously, by the Women's Declaration International. I took it from the Women's Declaration International, so thank you so much for that. We set up the Green Women's Declaration for supporters and members of the Green Party, so you don't have to be a member of the Green Party, which means that all the suspended and expelled people can sign it and join as well. You know, so it's a space, and we've been holding webinars about, as I say, about what's going on in the Green Party. It gives us a declaration. With the declaration, we can work cross-party because we're very aware that in the Liberal Democrats, in the Labour Party, we're having exactly the same kind of issues. And a couple of weeks ago, we wrote a letter, a joint letter from the, that's the Women's Declaration there. Yeah, we had a joint letter to the Observer from Liberal Voice for Women, Green Women's Declaration, Labour Women's Declaration. And I've got to say thank you to my friends and Liberal Voice for Women, especially Zoe Hollywood, who is quite simply amazing. So we're trying to do things outside the party because the Green Party doesn't allow us to do anything. And finally, because I am running quite over time, Shara Ali, as I say, was in court last week, or he got the judgment last week, and he won the substantial part of his claim. So now I've got to go away and look at what I'm going to do, because my case has been not on hold for a little while, but we've been waiting to hear what this judgment is, because it's quite a significant judgment. I think it will have an impact on quite a few different political parties. Now, it was a very nuanced judgment. And people have interpreted it in different ways. And I'm not a lawyer, and I'm not going to say anything about what I think about it, even though I watched all the trial, and I think the judge was pretty good, and gave a very clear, good judgment. But if you want to know about it, we're having a Green Women's Declaration webinar about the Shara Ali judgment with Sarah Phillimore, and she's going to come along and talk to Jude English, who is the new co-chair of Green Party Women. Zoe's going to be there as well, and they're going to be discussing the legal implications and Shara Ali's court case and the court cases going forward. I'm sorry that I've overrun, and that's my romp through.